On today's episode, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the recent interview on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast with Matt Fraser, a 5-time CrossFit Games champion, and the impact, or what I believe to be the benefit, for microgym owners who happen to carry the CrossFit flag. Now, if you own a CrossFit gym and you listen to the full interview, there are a lot of CrossFit gym owners that are hot and bothered by the way that Matt portrayed CrossFit, some of the things he said, and apparently by many of you, the things he didn't say. But I'll be going ahead today and giving a full reaction and a breakdown of what I think actually transpired in this podcast that many of you are overlooking. This is episode 17 of the What the Fuck Gym Talk Show. What the fuck is up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the show. And for today's episode, I'm really excited. We're going to be breaking down my reaction to the recent interview that Matt Fraser gave on the Joe Rogan Experience. And as many of you know, I started my own long format podcast, Shoot the Shit. And yes, I took many inspirational notes from guys like Joe Rogan and Lewis Holmes and Guy Raz. And so when this topic popped up, I was super excited. I was like, man, I wonder if they're going to jam it all on the business element of the CrossFit affiliate model, which they hit on a little bit. But what was more interesting to me was the barrage of hate and anger and disappointment from CrossFit affiliates from Matt's interview. Their position was essentially this: we finally get someone on a platform as large as the Joe Rogan Experience, and this individual doesn't push forward the message of the CrossFit affiliate owner. He didn't advocate for our gyms. He didn't speak to the amazing benefits of CrossFit as a general physical preparation fitness model. And he overall just didn't make us look good on the largest consumed podcast in the world. Now, my opinion doesn't align with any of that silly bullshit at all. But I think if we go ahead and actually dissect this interview and take a look at a few of the key moments, and you look at it through a slightly different lens, I think you'll find that this interview, for the purposes of Matt Fraser meeting Joe Rogan and talking about Matt Fraser, was done really well. Now, I'm not obviously dissecting a 3-hour-long fucking podcast. We're going to go ahead and cut to the sections that are actually relative for this channel and the topics that I speak on, the business side of everything. But it all started and kicked off right about here.
And in CrossFit, when you talk about like someone doing 1,000 thrusters, is a workout, are they scheduled by the people that run? They call them boxes, right? Your gyms, you call them boxes?
Yeah.
Is that like
I think that's like
term?
the coin term.
Is that dorks? Is it like so dorky that you don't say it?
I mean,
you're too CrossFit?
Yes, it is a fucking nerd term in the world of CrossFit. Guys, here's the deal. If you're a gym that is super successful and you've been in the game for a long time, continue to call it a box if you want. Go for it. Do you, boo-boo. But if you're a gym that is struggling for success, you are hungry to get people in, realize that your little lexicon and jargon in outward bound marketing like Box and AMRAP and WAD and Cindy and all these things that CrossFitters know creates further and more convoluted barriers of entry for people to acquaint themselves with your brand. The whole box thing, I mean, I don't know, 9 out of 10 of you should probably cut that shit out.
Like
so it's a gym.
We used to watch CrossFit fail videos, like from weightlifting. Like when I started CrossFit, I didn't tell any of my weightlifting buddies.
First off, who the fuck doesn't love a good CrossFit fail compilation video? They are fucking classic every single time.
Hey, so I was watching TV today, and you do CrossFit now? And I'm like,
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was me.
You're on ESPN and you're embarrassed. That's so silly.
So at this point now, Matt Fraser has now openly admitted that even he, in his inner circle of weightlifting buddies, thought CrossFit was this embarrassing enough sport that when he was even on ESPN at the highest levels of the event, you know, he was embarrassed about it. And I would say that Matt Fraser is one of those athletes that has always he wasn't a darling, he wasn't a favorite of the sport, and it was pretty obvious to most parties involved. So he never really kind of got into the Kool-Aid drinking, cool kids club of CrossFit, which, you know, in my opinion, I think that makes him a great person to have on the Joe Rogan experience, someone who's not so brainwashed and Kool-Aid drinking into it that they're going to get on there and just sound like a Glassman robot. So I like his indifference towards it. Now, coming up, though, is where I think a lot of you guys that own CrossFit gyms got really annoyed with Matt's responses.
But yeah, a lot of people call them boxes.
But you would call them a gym.
Yeah, I just call it the gym.
Well, if you call it the gym, I think everyone should call it a fucking gym. How about that? So if they go to those CrossFit gyms, are the workouts, like when they have the workout of the day, is that workout scheduled by the person who runs the gym or randomly choose a bunch of shit you could do?
The owner of the gym is allowed to run it however they want. They're free to do whatever. So like there's no regulations on the equipment, programming, coaching.
Interesting.
Nothing. So like I came from a gym in Vermont, Champlain Valley, that like a huge gym, amazing coaches that like cared about the fundamentals, had amazing programming. Like they put thought into every aspect of it. And then I remember like visiting other gyms that it's
the owners of Champlain Valley or whatever fucking gym that is are just like, thank you, God that we did not fuck that up, because now we literally just got blasted and shouted out by Matt Fraser to millions and millions of people that we actually do our thing well. Like this, here's the piece. This is the piece where Matt has now complimented a CrossFit affiliate that he has personal experience at. And I think that's fair. I think it would be unfair for him to go ahead and say, by and large, all CrossFit gyms deliver this amazing experience, awesome programming, great coaching, because he doesn't know that. And if you own a gym, you've signed up for the Wild West, a license model where anyone can run it in any way that they want. So to have any human being stand up, I don't care if you're Greg Glassman or Matt Fraser, or who you are, to have anyone get up and speak at scale that CrossFit gyms do X is complete bullshit. There's 16,000 of them, and you have no idea where the quality control is at all. And I get it. You guys want the shout out. You want to be advocated for on the largest podcast in the world. I understand, but you can't hate on the guy for not lying.
I mean, it's like the size of this room. Half the plates are broken. The coach is just a cheerleader. And I remember like, wait, these are the same. This is the same thing. You know,
so do you just have to pay a fee to be a CrossFit gym, or do you?
I'm not 100% sure how it works because I've never had an interest in opening a gym. You know, the gyms that aren't putting in that effort will dwindle out. Yeah, I mean, I've shown up to gyms where it's brutal.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm sure a lot of them are out of business now.
And there it is right there. That's where a lot of you guys are really upset, because he's speaking more to the fuck-ups, right? The bottom 20% of any business industry where people do a shit job. And those of you watching at home, I'm sure that's not you. I'm sure you do an amazing job, and now you feel like your brand, the brand that you've attached yourselves to, is now tainted. But I would go ahead and now make this argument. Did you see how little research Rogan did on this? Like, he doesn't give a fuck. At his scale, at where he's at right now in his career, he doesn't need to do CrossFit research or Matt Fraser research prior to the interview, which is unfortunate for a lot of the CrossFit affiliates, because just a little bit of research, you know, having young Jamie, his sidekick, go ahead and kind of pull some numbers and things, he could have realized what the process is to become a CrossFit affiliate, albeit crazy low barrier of entry, but at least would have known a little bit so it didn't seem like just any schmuck can go ahead and open one. But wait, actually, that's actually exactly what can happen. You can take the weekend course and be a schmuck and pass it. And I guess that's accurate. I guess that's exactly what that means. But that's not to say that that's not the fitness industry in general. Anyone can go ahead and open a gym at any time with zero training, not even a 2-day weekend-long certification like the CrossFit Level 1. There is zero regulation in this industry, which is both a great and horrible thing for those of us trying to professionalize this world that we're trying to make money in. But this next piece, where they talk about Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, the very controversial founder of CrossFit, who recently sold the company after a controversial summer of fucked up tweets and really shitty things he said during a very heightened time of sensitivity. This next part is pretty entertaining.
Yeah. What is the deal with the dude who started CrossFit? Because he doesn't look like he exercises.
No, I have.
That's baffling to me.
Yeah, I remember seeing him for the first time. Like, that's the guy? Like, that's the guy who started this whole thing? Like, really?
How did he start it? Was he high? Just like, I got an idea, bro.
I don't really know.
Let's get people to work out until they die, man.
I haven't heard enough I don't know enough of the history.
All right, so this is where so many of you got pissed because Matt doesn't know the background of CrossFit and how it got started and how affiliates began and the methodology. You got really upset, but I need to remind you of something. He is simply a professional athlete in the sport of CrossFit. He is in a completely different world than what you are in. You are a purveyor of a brick and mortar that utilizes the CrossFit fitness methodology, and you sell it to individuals to enhance their life and make them more fit. Two completely different worlds. His lack of understanding of the origins of CrossFit or how the affiliate model works isn't his fucking problem. And it's honestly not yours either. The problem lies in the fact that this brand, as I've said forever, is bipolar. You have the element of it that is brick and mortar fitness facilities that could help, change the world and stop diabetes and fix obesity and change this epidemic of, immune and cardiovascular and obesity issues. And then you have a professional sport where people are competing against each other to win, like NFL, MLB, NBA. That's what Matt Fraser represents, the business sport side of it. And I don't believe that there needs to be any carryover between those two. So many CrossFit affiliators want to be, well, we carry the CrossFit flag and we have a brick and mortar and he carries the CrossFit flag even though he does the sport, but we built him or the CrossFit built him. No. He showed up. He found a sport that he kicks ass at. He went and kicked ass. He made his money and he retired. He owes you fucking nothing.
So I've met him twice. And it was hey, how you doing? That was it.
Hey, guy who wins my thing every fucking year. Maybe I'd want to say hi to you.
As bombastic and controversial as Glassman is, a lot of you guys know I'm a huge Glassman fan for a lot of other reasons. But the fact that he didn't know who Matt Fraser was or didn't give a fuck doesn't surprise me at all. And it probably shouldn't surprise many of you who follow the sport or are involved in the business side of it as a CrossFit affiliate.
The games.
What?
Yeah. He was like,
It made him rich as fuck.
Yeah.
How is he not like the games?
Because he was saying, it's not what CrossFit's about. CrossFit's about the everyday person going into the affiliate. And it's like,
okay, so I did an entire reaction video, several years ago when a guy named Craig Ritchie, a YouTuber, very, very popular, successful YouTuber, interviewed Glassman when Glassman made all the changes in the CrossFit affiliate world. And that alone, one of my favorite videos I've ever made. But I laid out my stance on, listen, the sport of CrossFit loses money, doesn't make money. It promotes CrossFit, but it promotes it in a completely negative, non-marketable way for CrossFit affiliates, in my opinion. And again, Fraser doesn't know this. He's not speaking, he's speaking ignorantly, just out of naivete. I don't think he's speaking, bombastically against what it is CrossFit affiliates do or whatever it may be. He's literally just has zero idea. He thinks that his professional sport helps advertise for the average brick and mortar. Whereas all the average brick and mortars know that's not who's coming into the gym. They're not people looking to be him. Just like the average YMCA isn't attracting kids who want to be LeBron. They're just attracting kids who want to play basketball in their courts. So there's definitely a disconnect here. Again, going back to the bipolarization of this fucking brand.
When someone starts a gym, they start a CrossFit gym, do they buy a franchise? How does it work?
I think you basically pay an annual fee to use the word CrossFit.
And then once you have that name, you can do whatever you want in there.
Yeah.
So you construct the workouts entirely your own.
Yeah.
So do you have to know what you're doing? I've never done CrossFit. Could I just open a CrossFit gym and start calling it CrossFit, or do I have to take classes?
You need to take their course.
You take a course, you learn the things.
It's a weekend course.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another one. Many of you guys who carry the CrossFit flag probably don't love that. And I do. I've gone on record saying I think the CrossFit Level 1 is the best 2-day certification out there, in-person, practical application that you can buy for the money and get that level of education, especially if you're starting with nothing. You have zero training background. So yeah, for Fraser to kind of downplay it a little bit there. But again, it's not wrong. It is insane that even though it's a great 2-day cert, that somebody can do that and then apply to open a location. That is fucking insane that you could be a dental hygienist on Friday, quit your job, that weekend go take a 2-day certification, and weeks later open up a gym and now proclaim yourself as a fitness professional. that definitely sets a lot of people in the industry and just like people who hear that, narrative that aren't in the industry the wrong way when it comes to the professionalization of a CrossFit gym.
So you don't even really have to be fit to own a CrossFit gym?
No, there's no requirements on any of that stuff. I think the intent is good of like, this is your business, run it however you want.
Right.
And it's like the cream rise to the top, the good ones flourish and they keep expanding. They open up more locations, all this stuff. And then it's like, if you're not putting the effort in to program well and your members aren't seeing results, well, they're only going to stick around for so long and you're only going to stay in business for so long. I've met multiple surgeons that they're like, oh, you do CrossFit? Oh yeah. CrossFit paid for my yacht.
CrossFit paid for my yacht.
Yeah. And it's just so straight up. I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised. Like,
yeah.
All right, so in closing with this, there's a few things I want all the upset CrossFit affiliate owners to take away from this. Number one, the PR of just getting the word CrossFit said about, 120 times on the Joe Rogan podcast is good PR. Regardless of how it was packaged up, people will do their own research, they will Google, they will find, and they will either agree with what they see, saying like, oh yeah, this place doesn't look like they know fucking anything. This doesn't look professional. This looks like a shitty dungeon. Or they're going to see something else. And those of you guys who have put your time and effort to develop your digital assets and place your brand on a high mantle at a high level will do okay. Those of you that look exactly like what Matt was describing, well, you'll suffer and eventually you won't be here any longer. That's how the free market works. But the main thing to take away from this, there are marketing opportunities for you guys to cut this interview, just like I did in this video, and for you to comment on it yourself within your own hyperlocal market and talk about how it's unfortunate that there are CrossFit gyms like this. Ours is not because of, and list out all the things you do for quality reassurance, to advocate for your high level of coaching, how you onboard new members. There's great opportunities here to take the popularized, massively downloaded conversation and flip it for your brand. It's just going to take a little creativity and hard work, but you could do that, or you just sit there and bitch in a Facebook forum how Matt Fraser ruined the brand of CrossFit and you fucking hate him. I mean, I'm sure that's going to work out really good for you too. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. As always, thank you so much for watching. And until I see you in the next video, have a great fucking day.